Thanks everybody for coming along and being interested in this, and I think it's so important. And I think to start, really just to say that we know that this alone, this initiative that we're going to be talking about, is not going to solve everything, and we really acknowledge that as STACS, and we know that, like, you know, it needs more investment, it needs way more support, but we're just at the stage of our subject that we really need to try and do something. Obviously, like me, myself, Brendan and myself being computer science teachers, we are so passionate about the subject as well, and yeah, so we're like, we need to try and figure out some sort of solution and try and help get more teachers into the profession. So I don't know if you all saw, but I will link it as well. Mark Logan, when he was in post, he spoke to Parliament. When was that, Brendan?
That was May. It's just the end of May.
And he raised about this idea of computer science teachers going to speak to undergraduates and champion the subject, really advocate the subject, really just, you know, shout about it and try and get more people excited about becoming a computer science teacher. So we know that that's something that doesn't really happen. I don't think it happens for any subjects, really, from what we've heard, but it definitely doesn't happen for computer science. So we know that there's a few initiatives, like the University of Glasgow, they try and do, it's like a little module in education, and, you know, just sort of mention it there, but it certainly isn't reaching as many people as it possibly could. So the idea that we're going to pilot is basically getting computer science teachers who are really passionate about the subject, but also going out to the undergraduates. It'll vary from university to university. So we know that industry scoop up a lot of undergraduates from like third year and fourth year. So we're trying to go as early as possible. We're thinking like first, second, or a little bit of third year, but we've been pretty much told by university that we think it's too late in fourth year. We're also trying to widen the net and also speak to undergraduates at universities who are doing different degrees, so potentially like games design or cyber, so not just your software development route as well. So basically we're going to try and widen the net, speak to as many undergraduates as possible. That's the plan. You know, we'd love to go all over Scotland, but we're thinking let's just try and do something this year. So I've got the little list, I was just pulling it out. For universities who are interested, University of Glasgow, Heriot-Watt, Glasgow Caledonian Uni, University West of Scotland, University of Glasgow, and Strathclyde University. And we also got St Andrews University emailing us the other day as well. So we've got a really nice range of universities. You know, it's great having the Central Belt as well, but we are aware that we'd love to get up to Dundee and Aberdeen. And I think if those opportunities are there, we're definitely going to try and take them. But where this pilot really needs, we need computer science teachers. You're the best people to talk about the career. Nobody else can do it. You know, and it's really just getting out there and sharing that message. So I just wanted to show you a little bit of history about it, just because I thought it'd be interesting. I'll just quickly share the screen. And just to try give you some context, I know that most of you will know this anyway, but just to paint the picture. So this is the recruitment figures from 2001. So 2001, this is just for computing science. There is no public data on this, but of course the data exists somewhere, but there's no public data from 2001. But in 2008, so I know some of you will have taught during that time, there was 766 computer science teachers. And then you can just slowly see that the decline started. This is where it kind of started to all go wrong. 2010, we had 699. Then it went to 579, and then we're at our lowest 578. I actually feel like that figure might be, no, that's fine. So in 2020, it went up to 595, and then it dipped back down to 578. The key thing about the 578 number, which was the recent teacher census that has came out, is that is the lowest figure that there has ever been for computing science since records like began publicly. So we're in a really, really delicate position. And we know that there's so many challenges with computing science as subject in general, you know, like uptake, gender, all of those, but ultimately it all relies on equity of access. And if we don't have the teachers, we don't have the access, the uptake won't be there, and so on. So it really, really relies on recruitment. And then if we have a little look at recruitment, so this is the number of teachers compared to the traditional STEM subjects, the target number that they tried to get, that the government sets, and then the probationer numbers. So this is just 2023, but all the data is public. So you can actually see the trends over the years, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Maths, that's the number that they got, 2,456. Target was 250, and the probationer intake is 83. So what you do see from this data as well, it's not just computing science that's struggling, it's all the STEM subjects, but the similar story with computing science is we're struggling the most on all fronts. So you can see here that we only got 16 in, and there was a really interesting piece of research done by Judy Robertson, who looked at a sustainable pipeline for teachers, and what she noted was we only actually need 50 new teachers a year coming through to have a sustainable kind of subject like growth, and it would mean that we'd be able to start having those subjects thriving in all schools as well. So 50 feels like an achievable number when we know there is around 5,000 graduates coming through at undergraduate level. But you can see something's going on. And then I didn't manage to pull the data, but I can if anybody's interested. But last year we had 26, and then the years before that we had about 44 teachers coming in, and then it was pretty steady around 40, 44, and then it was just since last year 26, and then this year only 16 coming in. Now, of course, these numbers they get released like a year later, and we already kind of know through the grapevine it doesn't even sound like we're going to have 16 in 2024 who have just came in. So the subject is in such a delicate position. So that's just kind of giving you a little bit of overview why we need teachers. And then just to give you a little bit of an idea of what we're trying to do, kind of spoke to the universities. They're the ones who are interested. They said that they could give us half an hour. So we thought maybe 20 minutes talk, 15, 20 minutes talk, and then, time for questions. And if it finishes earlier, then that's fantastic. We're toying with the idea of will we give you a script? Will we share the stories? And I think me and Brenda were very much on that page of teaching such a personal story. You've all got your own stories, why you want to be a teacher, why you became a teacher, what you love about teaching. And I think that's what makes it really great, is those stories. So there's definitely key points that we're really keen for teachers to share, and we can put those slides together, like the salary, holidays, obviously, but like the good things about teaching, and then also things like you can dump the pay scale if you've had industry experience, things like that aren't really probably known widely. So that would just be one slide that we would share like at the end of your slides or whatever. But then you've got like kind of free rein. We'll work with you. We're more than happy to kind of bounce ideas and shape your presentation. But the pitch is just try and be a teacher, come in. And I think it's definitely not sugarcoating it and lying. We're all very aware that teaching is really difficult. It is a hard job, but I think we're still all in it because it actually is a brilliant job at the same time. And so I think you'll get some really interesting questions probably from undergraduates. 15, 20 minutes. Again, if you don't want to do a talk, if you want to have a video or whatever, it's really up to you. And then what we're going to do is pull together a little leaflet that we'll leave, you can like hand out or whatever, leave to the classes. And then we're also on the STACS website going to pull together kind of all the routes in. So if someone's coming from industry, if someone doesn't have like English, I didn't have higher English, so I had to go down the different route, but just to try and map out all the potential routes that you can to become a computing science teacher. And then there's also a really brilliant initiative, I don't know if you have heard about it, but it's George Heriot's and so in Edinburgh, so they've paired up, and last year they ran a pilot and they essentially had teachers, anybody who was interested in becoming a computing science teacher, attend their school for like a week in June, sort of like a mini work placement essentially. But this year they've managed to get funding, so anybody who's interested can actually go for a week and get experience of just being in the classroom, just generally being around computing science teachers, being in the school and so on. And then but they can actually get paid for it, so it's an amazing initiative. So we thought we would love to kind of join the dots, and that's kind of everything we're trying to do with STACS. So we thought any teachers who are really interested, we'll figure out like timings and things, match them with a university that's close to them or whatever. Then do your presentation. We'll leave leaflets to the undergraduates. Anybody who's interested, they can then sign up to the paid experience if that's something that they'd be interested in, and then just hope that we get more than 16 people coming in to teach it. So it's just a pilot, like we say. It is something that we would love to try and scale and go to other universities. We are working with Scottish Government on this as well, so that's really exciting.
Mm-hmm.
So the next steps after this is we're going to try and get a list of people who are like, actually, do you know what, I'd love to do this. This is something I'm really interested in, really want to be involved. We'll get that list, and then we'll pull kind of that group together, and we'll start working with all the individuals who really want involved and just go next steps, as in helping with the presentation, going out to the universities and speaking to them and so on. There was a few people as well who was interested in doing it in twos. And I think that's also really interesting because it has that, you know, you bounce off each other, and if that's something that you would be more comfortable with doing as well, I think if it's something that we can definitely arrange in terms of timings, like I don't see any reason why not. But that's the kind of basic idea. There's loads of stuff that else we'd like to do, but I think for us and for government, it really is about just trying to do something right now. The person we're working with government is called Zach, and he's really good, really supportive. He is also interested, and of course government are interested in helping with recruitment in other areas. So because we are piloting this, they're really interested to like learn what we can see and what we can learn and what impact we can get from this. And then hopefully maybe it's something they might look at for other subjects as well. But computing for us, of course, STACS is a real area of concern. And yeah, it's something we, as teachers, we need teachers to try and get more teachers. That's what we're aiming to do. So that's pretty much overview. Yeah, and we just really need you all involved. It'd be great if you could help. But that's it really. So in a nutshell, pretty much going out, speaking to undergraduates, half an hour max, but you'd have 15-20 minutes talking, 10 minutes for questions. If it wraps up early, it's fine. And then we'll kind of do the legwork afterwards of like trying to join the dots and try and get more people signed up to the pilot initiative and paid internship type thing. And then just really hope that we can get more teachers in the door to try and help our subject grow and thrive. That's the goal. So yeah, that's me. I'll stop talking just now. But if any questions or anything or any other ideas as well, like we would love to hear it, because the subject is in such a delicate position and everything relies on that recruitment number. Is there anything you want to add as well, Brendan? Well, just
no, I'm glad that you mentioned Zach, because I think we've had chats with different government people over the time, but Zach's come back and really given us a feeling that there isn't a magic answer, but he's interested in staying with us while we explore this, which is really important. And there's also that thing, as Tony says, that you can never be sure. Well, it's unlikely that any one thing is going to totally transform it, but as Tony says, it's joining dots together. So this is another dot that we've got, and it's when you join them together that you suddenly see that there's opportunities you didn't originally think were there, or you meet somebody or you make a connection, and all of a sudden the game starts to change. So trying to do things helps to bring the focus on it, that we're doing something. Tony is a master at turning that into social media posts, and it starts to gain momentum, kind of thing. So doing something, even though you're really quite unsure about it, its likelihood of success is definitely, it's trying, it's experimenting, it's trying to make, throwing, I think you said as well before, Tony, throwing the wee stone in the water, and
see what happens.
There'll be some ripples. They might not go anywhere, but there will be some ripples, and you never quite can tell what comes from it.
And I think it's that thing, I'm sure you probably all agree that we were speaking to Zach, and we're like, you could go out and talk about computing science and be a teacher all you want, but if we can get people on that paid pilot with that school, I think that's where people, certainly for me, it wasn't until I was in front of a class that you're like, oh yeah, this is it. but there's certainly loads of people I know who have been in front of the class and like, oh my goodness, never. And I think that's fine as well. But if we can get them to that stage where we hook them, they're interested, and then they go to that week and hopefully have a really, really good experience. And then the next step is, of course, helping them apply and so on. And then hopefully that just kind of builds the momentum. But yeah, it's definitely something that there isn't an easy fix. There's lots of other things that I think University of Glasgow are interested in doing, a kind of speed dating type thing. So the idea of having undergraduates attend an event, so it'd be all different types of undergraduates. I think they ran it last year, they said, but they didn't have computing science, so we're hoping to get along to it this time. When I say us, we mean computing teachers, not just me and Brendan, it's the community. And so the idea with that is that you just kind of go around. I think it's essentially like speed dating, where you've got a wee table and people come to you and they ask you questions about being a computing science teacher. And again, it's just a different kind of format of trying to get that message out. So this stage just now, it's just to spread the message, try and get this kind of format shared amongst the community and see how many teachers are genuinely interested, and then hopefully get that group together. Zach really wants to meet that kind of group, the small group that we managed to get, and then really try and do something before June. So we're hoping that we can maybe see an impact in the numbers that are coming in as well. And Tracy, I shared the data as well. So we've got the lowest number of teachers coming in. We've got the lowest number of teachers we've ever had. So we're not in a good position. But it really is like, we know that computing science teachers who are in the classroom are the best people to champion the message of being a computing science teacher, because they just know it inside out and they love it. So it really is at this stage just like, is it something you're interested in? Do you have any other ideas? Yeah, just any questions, and we'd be here to help you all the way through. So like, you know, with presentations, practicing, whatever, like we'd definitely help. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, I like your comment there as well. So that's good. It's good to know that games definitely seems to be a thing, and that's what Matt said from the University of Glasgow. He's like, a lot of people doing games as an undergraduate, the job availability isn't huge compared to people who are doing software developers, so we might have more luck going down the games route and the cyber route. So that's positive to kind of hear that maybe that is a potential. But yeah, is there any questions, or is there anything that anybody, I don't know, would you be interested? Is it something you think that you'd definitely be up for? We know there's definitely the kind of logistics is probably the harder part of getting people out of school, getting people to the event, to the university. We did think that if we managed to get someone from, let's say, Fraser, I'm just going to say you, but if you managed to come along and you were like, oh, I could do Glasgow, we know that like there's a few close to each other as well. So we're like, well, let's just capitalise on that, you know, and try and get, if there's a way that we could potentially line up. Again, it would all depend on the universities, but it would be ideal if, you know, you could do two and so on. But yeah, right now we're waiting from the universities to hear their availability. But then we know with teaching, of course, like when coursework comes and things, it gets a bit tight. So it's really all going to depend whether logistics work in terms of availability. So, but right now we just thought, well, we're just going to get the ball rolling. So we've got 19 people on the list who are really keen. And this is the stage of just like now trying to find out of those 19 who are genuinely like, yep, I'm up for this. And Tracy says as well that like if people want to do it in pairs and things, like definitely something we can look at, and if we can make it happen, we absolutely will. I'm more than happy to stand up with someone if that makes anybody feel better. Probably not, but yeah, it's just we're here to support, and it's really just to try and help our subject.